Well, hi class. We're heading into week 4. Critic speeches are due tomorrow, and right off the bat, for the most part, really good job putting your outlines together. I've graded most of the outlines, and once you've found the instructional videos to watch to get the information you need to be successful, you guys as a whole, as a class, did a really good job putting those outlines together. So nice job there. And you should now be using those outlines to practice your speech over and over and over again. Again, best way to practice is 3 times a day, read your speech directly from the outline. And if you do that for a couple days, you'll be familiar enough with your speech that your delivery should be outstanding. Now, here are a couple things that I want you to focus on for your presentation of the critic speech. If you want to get it complete on the presentation, I want you to make sure that you do these couple things. First, you've got to make sure that you retain that structure and organization from the outline so you're executing the delivery of the speech, so you're still maintaining that good structure and that organization. So the speech must be structured, must be organized. Second, if you want to get it complete on the assignment, you've got to make sure that you're maintaining your eye contact with the audience, i.e., you're looking into the camera at least 50% of the time. So at least half the time, your eye contact needs to be focused on the camera. What I don't want is people just looking at the screen, just reading their speech word for word. That's not going to get you a complete, that's not how we deliver speeches. So you've got to make sure that you're maintaining eye contact with the audience, you're speaking to the camera, and it just needs to be half the time. So I mean, the other half, you can glance down, take a look at your outline, and then look up and deliver that line into the camera. So at least half the time, eyes are on the camera. Number 3, you want to make sure that you have a nice conversational flow to the vocal aspect of your delivery, and you're using lots of vocal variety. And I don't mind if you even have your outline kind of set up so it's like a teleprompter. Maybe you have it like right above the camera and you move back just a little bit. You do this, and I'm looking right above the camera, but it's still going to look like I'm maintaining eye contact directly with the camera. And that's fine. So if you're actually looking at your speech while you're delivering the speech, cool, but I don't want it to sound like you're reading the speech. That's why vocal variety creates that nice conversational flow to the speech. I don't want the speeches to be read. That's the worst way to try to engage an audience. If you want to be an effective speaker and really engage the audience, you've got to make sure that you're looking at your audience and you're talking to the audience like you're talking to friends. You do those 2 things, you're easily going to be able to engage the audience and maintain their attention all the way through the speech. So, in order to get it complete on the presentation, you want to have that good structure, eye contact with the camera, i.e. the audience, at least 50% of the time, and a nice conversational flow to your speech, lots of vocal variety. I don't want the speeches to sound like you're reading the speech directly from the outline. And then the last thing, as far as the delivery, and these are little things that I like to teach in my classes. I call it speaking like a pro. These are the things that you may not get in the other classes, but they'll set you apart, especially if you're giving a presentation in class and other folks are giving presentations as well. What tends to happen, whatever the first speaker does, everybody kind of emulates and follows that. No, we don't want to do that. We want to know exactly what we want to do to have an effective delivery. And so the last thing that I want you to focus on for your presentation of the critic speech, make sure that the first words you say are from the attention getter. And the last words that you say are from that last line, from the finality line at the end of the outline. And some of you have even kind of figured out great way to open and end a speech is to begin the speech with your attention getter, and then when you end, refer back to the attention getter. That gives the speech what I call a nice sandwich effect. Like if you're building a sandwich, right? You don't start with wheat and then end with pumpernickel. You start with wheat, you end with wheat. So in the critic speech, in fact, any speech for that matter, you always want to begin with the attention getter and end with the last line. So I don't want any meta communication, that's meaningless communication at the outset. Hi, everybody. My name's Greg. Today I'm going to be doing my speech on The Walking Dead. All right, here we go. No, well, you don't even need an attention getter now because you already told us the topic. So first words out of your mouths, opening words from the attention getter. And don't rush the opening. And so once you hit record, take a second to fix your eyes on the camera, establish that eye contact with the audience. It's almost like hit record, look at camera, 1001 in your head, and then start with that opening attention getter. Some of you, I noticed with the introductory speech, as you hit record, you're saying that opening line and we kind of lose the first couple words. So don't rush the opening. Hit record, eyes on the camera, first words from the attention getter. And then when you get to the end of the speech, make sure that you end with that last line. And you always want to slow down on the last line in a speech to create a sense of finality. So as you say that line, when you're done, just because of your vocal tone, the audience is going to know, okay, cool, the speech is over. It's our time to applaud and to reward you for a job well done. You don't end your speech and then bust out with a thank you, right? No, end with the last line. Let the audience thank you, especially if we were doing this in public, with a round of applause. So in order to get a complete on the presentation of the critic speech, you want to make sure that you retain the organization, eye contact on the camera at least 50% of the time. I don't want the speeches to sound like you're reading them, so nice conversational flow, lots of vocal variety, and make sure you begin with the attention getter and end with the last line in the speech. And do that, not only are you going to get it complete on the assignment, but you're going to be well on your way to being an effective public speaker. And that's great because as soon as we're done with the critic speech and we'll start working on the next module towards the end of this week, we've got the informative speech right around the corner. That's a little bigger speech. It's going to be 4 to 6 minutes in length. And what we're going to do with the informative speech, we're going to add to the structure of the outline. So that outline is going to be a little bit more detailed. We're going to add a couple more components. And then the big thing that we're doing with the informative speech, we're going to learn how to plug source citations into our outline and into the flow of the speech. Because when you're speaking to an audience, I mean, you don't have verbal footnotes and you don't end your speech and then go, oh, here's where I found all the information. So there's no footnotes, there's no works cited. We're actually going to learn how to cite our sources during the actual flow of the presentation. Now, to be able to be successful, both on putting the outline together for the informative speech and to deliver that speech effectively, you have to make sure that you're utilizing all of the available instructional tools on our Canvas shelf. So let's go to the module right now. I want to show you the instructional videos that you want to make sure that you watch so you have all the information you need to be successful on the informative speech. Let's go to the modules now. All right, so now we are on the number 9 module on informative speaking, and you'll be focusing on this for the next 2 weeks. Now you have a little bit longer to put the speech together, and notice here that your outline is due on the 18th, but your speech isn't due until the 26th. The reason why, in order to use the outline to be an effective speaker, you've got to put in the practice. And so I give you time here in between the speeches so you have plenty of time to practice and learn your speech effectively. And I'll refer you back to the module on delivery right here, how to effectively practice a speech. make sure you take a look at that, because if you just follow the steps here in that time between submitting your outline and delivering the speech, you will have a flawless speech presentation. But a lot of public speaking is not only practicing, but learning how to practice effectively and efficiently, right? You want to spend more time than you have to practicing a speech. So you want to get the practice steps down so you're not wasting time. All right, so let's go back to the informative speech module. So here you've got all the instruction. You want to make sure that you're reading the materials on all of the pages. But the first instructional video I want to point your attention to is right here on the second page on the informative topic selection. Let's go ahead and click on that. Here I give you an overview of what makes a good informative topic. And one of the more difficult concepts to grasp when it comes to public speaking is understanding the difference between an informative topic for a speech and a persuasive topic for a speech. And you have to be able to make that distinction because you will use a different structural format for an informative speech and for a persuasive speech. So we use different outline formats. So we have to make sure that we can tell the difference between a good informative topic and a good persuasive topic. And to get that information, just watch this video right here. It's a 6.5-minute video, and I break down, here is how you can look at topics and then decide which of the topics go in the informative category, which of the topics go in the persuasive category. And one of the first assignments you'll have on this module will be to brainstorm for informative topics. If you don't watch this video right here, then what's probably going to happen, you'll submit a bunch of topics. They're going to be persuasive more than informative. And all I'm going to do is give you an incomplete and refer you to watch the video on the difference between an informative and a persuasive topic. So let's just save everybody some time and watch the video before you submit your topics that you brainstorm for an informative speech. So make sure you watch that video. All right, then if we go back to the modules. Now, when it comes time to actually submit your informative topics, here on this page for the informative topic proposal, if you're still kind of confused on the difference, or maybe you submit them, even if you watch the video, you submitted them, and I tell you, now these are more persuasive topics, I have a second, more detailed instructional video right here. And here I break down informative topics. You'll also find when we get to the persuasive topics, there are two types of persuasive speeches, and we'll use different outline formats for those. I explain all of that right here in this instructional video. So if you really want to have a good understanding of how to tell the difference between what we call academic speeches, so an informative speech and a persuasive speech, those would be academic speeches. And we just say that because those are speeches that will require evidence and research. So these are speeches where we will actually be citing sources as we're presenting the actual informative speech or persuasive speech. But I break all that info down for you right here in this video. And then if we go back to the modules, the last place to look for videos, good instructional videos, and some of you may not have discovered this yet. If you just go to the bottom of the weekly modules, here I have weekly course lectures for each of the weeks of instruction. And if you go right here to week number 4, I've got a couple videos here. So I've got another video where I go over informative topics and give you some ideas on what makes a really good informative topic. And then on the construction of the outline, if you want to make sure you get it complete on your outline for the informative speech assignment, just watch this video right here. It's a 30-minute video, but I walk you through the step-by-step process of putting an informative outline together. And again, one thing that we're going to learn how to do with the informative speech, we're going to learn how to incorporate source citations into the flow of the speech. That's a little trickier to do. You want to make sure that you understand that thoroughly because that's a key component of getting a complete on both the outline for the informative speech and the delivery. So you want to make sure you take a look at this video right here. Watch it all the way through. If you do that, you are going to excel on both the construction of your outline and maintaining that structure in the flow of the speech. And I already have a student, Aaron Ibarra, in this class, already submitted his informative outline. It was one of the best outlines I have ever seen. It was perfect. In fact, it's posted just under this video on this announcement. So you want to take a look at that. In fact, you want to get a complete on your outline assignment for the informative speech, you just follow Aaron's outline. If your outline looks exactly like his, pay particular attention to the source citations, you will get a complete, you will excel on putting your outline together. And you know what that tells me? That tells me that all the information that you need to be successful is contained in the modules. You just have to make sure that you watch all of the instructional videos. Look, that's the lecture for the class, right? So to get all of the information, you have to watch the lecture, right? It's not that difficult. You'll save more time in the long run because if you don't get the info, then you're submitting stuff and then you have to resubmit until you get it correctly. Let's just save everybody a bunch of time. Watch the videos, follow directions carefully. And if you do that, you're going to do well, not only on the informative assignment, but also on the persuasive assignment and the rest of the assignments in the class. Watch the instructional videos. If you do that, you're going to excel in the class. You're going to be able to meet all of your goals as well as the student learning objectives for the class. All right, but I'll tell you what, you guys are doing a good job on the outlines for the critic speech. To me, that's a good sign that you're utilizing the info. The speeches are going to get a little more demanding, a little more complicated. So you want to make sure that you're keeping up and you're utilizing all of the information necessary for you to excel as a speaker in this class. Have a good week, folks. Any questions, you know what to do. Hit me up, send me an email. All right, we'll see you later. Have a good week.